Maine is known for a lot of different things, and one of them is the classic 1980s TV show Murder, She Wrote, which follows amateur detective Jessica Fletcher as she solves mysteries, sometimes in her home state of Maine.
Yeah, so today there's a real-life Jessica Fletcher, if you will, following a similar path, creating a podcast that has found a lot of success. Our Caroline LaCour introduces us to the creator behind the Murder, She Told podcast.
Maine-born and raised Kristen Seavey has always been interested in true crime. Using that passion today, she's bringing the stories of cold cases once forgotten in Maine and across New England back to life in hopes to bring justice to the families still searching for answers.
It's my daughter, and I want her justice.
Billy Jo Dick has been fighting for the justice of her daughter, Danielle Bertolini, since her untimely death back in 2014.
Your mama's pretty girl.
While many cases turn cold over time, Dick believes keeping her daughter's story alive is the key to solving her alleged murder.
Anything that we can do, we're going to do it.
Helping tell stories like hers is Kristen Seavey of the Murder, She Told podcast.
I've always been interested in true crime since I was a kid. I grew up watching Unsolved Mysteries and reading Nancy Drew.
It all started when Seavey was a podcast listener, but wanted to be something more.
On all the big podcasts, you would never hear stories from Maine or New England unless they were like the really big ones that got big national attention.
So after moving back to her hometown during the pandemic, she started giving those stories their voice.
When questioned by police on her whereabouts,
Seavey now has almost 100 episodes under her belt, all of which require hours of sleuthing, interviews, and editing.
There's a lot of pots on the stove, hands on deck kind of thing. Probably the average amount of time is about 80 hours for one 45-minute episode.
That dedication paying off with the show hitting the top of the charts on Apple and Spotify podcasts just last year. In a sea of at times sensationalized true crime shows, Seavey says the podcast's change in focus is what she and the family she speaks with value the most.
Which is honoring the victims, honoring their families, and telling their stories and not the stories of the killers.
One of Seavey's first stories she helped share was one of Danielle Bertolini. Her mother says that interest can mean the world for families still searching for justice.
Even when I do get justice, I'll still never give up fighting for others, because they need to be heard.
If you're interested in taking a listen to the Murder, She Told podcast, we'll have that linked on our website and mobile app. Caroline LaCour, News Center, Maine.